It was the greatest honor. Hero of the Soviet Union.
I hear something.
Awarded to those who gave
Okay, now are you back on your OBS? All right.
Hero of the Soviet Union.
I hear something.
Awarded to those who gave
Okay, now are you back on your OBS?
It was the greatest honor. Hero of the Soviet Union. Awarded to those who gave their all to defend the motherland. Today, it is the hero of the Russian Federation. The men and women who have served the motherland's interests with great honor and distinction. Marco Rubio.
We're going to need to have functional embassies in Moscow and in Washington.
Tulsi Gabbard.
According to the U.S. government, these biolabs are conducting research on dangerous pathogens.
JD Vance.
I don't really care what happens to Ukraine one way or another.
And the greatest hero of our time, Donald Trump. These heroes know Russia is a peaceful nation that will never bow down to the decadent American values of what they call democracy. Remember them. Let history record their names amongst the greatest of our heroes. Never forget, they live in our hearts forever.
Yeah. Once again.
Crime is down.
Once again. The Lincoln Project says exactly what needs to be said. How you guys doing out there? What you just heard was exactly what we're talking about today. Our president, our nation is under Russian rule. We are merely a colony at this point. Our orders are coming from a faraway nation, from a faraway state and a faraway leader across a vast ocean, all the way to the rotted brain of Elon Musk and his girlfriend, Donald Orangina Trump, the Florida Orange. We're going to play a little music and we're going to get this thing started. Oh, where are we at here? I got too much music. Look at this. Here we go. Boom. What's up? Welcome, good people.
Drill Sarge, good to see you.
Drill Sergeant in the building.
Good to be here.
Laura Malcolm in the building. The honorable. I haven't said all of the other stuff. Let me see. The illuminated, the illustrious, the intelligent, the well-informed.
I love it. Come on, more, give it. The almost organized.
We're almost there.
Laura Malcolm.
We're almost there, guys. Listen, we got a lot to go through. Just a little bit of music. Hey, if you saw what just happened, you saw what I just played. That was the exact right thing for what's going on right now. The Russians are jumping for joy, Laura. They are jumping for joy. They did not have to fire one shot, and our entire our nation has raised a white flag in capitulation to Russia. It's unbelievable. Absolutely.
Well,
unbelievable.
they waved a red flag at the rest of the world.
Yeah, it's tough. So, guys, we're gonna talk about it. We got this little list right here. It's wild stuff. There's a lot to talk about. We missed you. since last time, we've gained like 10 more followers. So
We have an even 25,000. Look at right now. It's exactly 25K subscribers.
Beautiful.
Thank you all.
Beautiful.
Wow.
25K subscribers. But right now, this is supposed to be the live stream for members only. But because of everything that's been going on, it might not even be just members only. So people are getting a freebie today. I don't know what's going on. People are getting a freebie today. It's supposed to be just members only. But you know what? It might be one of those ones that's so important.
Well, I told them earlier that we might open it up to the public halfway through. I said, maybe Bruce wants to keep it members only for the first part because he's going to be saying a lot of shit.
Yeah.
You know who.
That's exactly what I wanted. I was going to have it members only for the first part, but I didn't get to switch it over because we were rushing as usual. So, looks like...
And a last-minute glitch. Yeah!
Looks like it's public. It looks like it's public. I mean, hey.
Welcome all.
Welcome all. You got lucky this time. Everybody gets a freebie. So we got new members. Too many to shout out right now, but we also have 25, I believe, 24 members that have joined. And this one is for you guys.
Oh.
Once a month we give out, we do a live members only. If that's not you, you're lucky, and I thank you for being here anyway. I'm a little sick, and we're going to get this thing started. People, anything you'd like to say, Laura? It's been a while. How have you been before we get started on the horribleness of life?
Well, I went to my GP, my doctor, and adjusted my meds.
Oh.
And actually, it's helping because I was starting to slip, man. I'm telling you, I was starting to feel it.
Oh.
But a little tiny adjustment. I'm back on my feet again, and yeah, all's good with the world. Not really, but all's good in my head.
I'm so happy about that too. I mean, it's not a light thing. We got to take care of our mental health, people. We have got to take care of our mental health. And
no, I took the step back. I watched the cat videos, and then I went back and got back into it. We all need to do that.
All right. Well, it's gonna go like this, guys. It's just so much going on. Thank you for being here. Periodically, we'll tell you everything that's going on outside of the channel as well with SOL and things like that. But the first thing, if you take a look at this list, this is where we're starting. In the bottom right-hand corner here. This week, was it this week that we had a gang up on Zelensky in the Oval Office, that we saw that foolishness? Was that this week?
Was that week? Just Monday? My God, so much happening. Or was it Friday? Oh, when did that happen?
God, we got to crowdsource that one. You guys tell us when it happened, because everything's running together. But the Russian puppet, the orange Russian puppet, has absolutely destroyed any semblance of allyship with anybody else. All right, I made a video about it, guys. Days do feel like months. Cat's Amanda. It's diabolical. And the main problem that I have with this, Laura, is that this wasn't just because he's a bumbling fool. It wasn't just because he's an unmitigated idiot to a level that nobody's seen before. Okay? To a level that nobody's seen before. It's not just that. What we saw, if I can just show a little bit, I want to show you guys that we are dealing with a Russian government in the White House. JD Vance, if everybody remembers this, and I'm gonna try to prove my point in such a way that you can go to the water fountain or the drinking fountain at work tomorrow and explain it. Explain it to your friends who are tuned out. Okay? Hey, Mac.
Mecca!
This is the deal. We saw, and I'm just gonna go ahead and put it in here. Trump Zelensky. Let's go back to the election. Before the election, while Trump was figuring out his vice president, who should he get? Is it going to be the black guy? Hell no. Well, is it going to be this one or that one? Well, what about the guy who called him Hitler? What about the guy who said he's America's Hitler? What about the guy who said, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I know I cannot vote for Trump? Will he choose him? Turns out he did. Why? Because Tucker Carlson, one of the low-hanging nutsacks of Vladimir Putin himself, Tucker Carlson, gave a little interview with the news saying that he wants him in there, that he has some good ideas. And then Donald Trump's sons, both of them, said they wanted him. And it was obviously pressure to put him in. And the reason why is because of his stance with Russia and his stance on Ukraine. We see now that Donald Trump will do whatever he's told to do, which is why he got JD Vance as vice president, the one who hated him. We're talking about Donald Trump here. The one who holds all grudges. Be honest with yourself. Be honest.
Woo!
Wait a minute.
Wow.
I saw something. What was that?
Tumblr Witch has given out 5 memberships. Hooray!
Woo,
But
woo, woo,
as luck would have it, Mac's not among them. So what I told Mac is we could make him a moderator, and that way he can be in the memberships only too.
There you go. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Tumblr Witch. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you.
So, here's the story. Here's the timeline. Obviously, the most grudge-holding person on earth would not have picked JD Vance unless he was told to by his higher-ups, and he was, and everyone in his council was.
Peter Thiel.
Peter Thiel, all of those people from the Heritage Foundation, of which JD Vance was an author. I want you guys to take it under advisement. Now, as you think about that, I want you to watch what really happened. I want you to watch what really happened. Why is JD Vance there in the first place? Vice President
Excuse me.
Company.
Play you for those ultras?
Vice
Well,
President
we're
Company. They-
kind of
they-
high level.
They don't have a signature in these deals. Remember that.
Woo! Thank
Well,
you
very
again,
much. It's
Cats
an honor to
Amanda
have
and friends.
President Zelensky of
$5
Ukraine.
super sticker.
And we've been
Hooray.
working very hard, very close. So we've actually known each other for a long time. We've been dealing with each other for a long time and very well. We had a little negotiation spat, but that worked out great. I think for both
as of right
countries,
now,
I think for the world.
The dummy puppet, the orange dummy puppet, is half asleep in his golden chair. And he's being too nice. Zelensky is saying what he wants, giving demands. And right on cue, the reason why JD Vance was there is to ensure that this deal does not go through, that on the world stage we are showing that we're switching alliances, that we can berate this war hero of Ukraine. Okay? When you see things not going his way, this is exactly why Putin had JD Vance on that couch.
And I've known him for a long time. I've dealt with him for a long time.
Too nice.
He had to suffer through the Russia hoax. You know, Russia was a hoax. That was all Biden. It was nothing to do with him. So he had to suffer through
Too
that,
nice.
and he was able to do that.
Then we get
that American speech, which is online, could fall.
Then we get this guy.
And we're going to defend that right as it pertains to American companies and American citizens vigorously if we have to. President who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied it.
I want you guys to understand that that was a cut-in. I'm just not going to play the whole 40 minutes of this debacle because nobody needs that in their life. That was a cut-in. JD Vance has now cut in 2 to 3 times. And little Marco Rubio is sitting there holding his crotch, trying not to cry. He had a few words to say. They were dismissed. The reason why
I have two.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
The reason why Zelensky right now is asking him, can I ask you this? Is simply, hey, WS, the reason why Zelensky is about to ask this question is because our paid in full Vice President JD Vance cut in because Trump was being a bit too nice, a bit too conciliatory, and that was not the job of the day. The job of the day was to do what Putin wanted, and here is how Vance did exactly what he was paid for. As you watch with the new context, think of this.
Our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact line?
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2014.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was
killed.
not here.
Yeah, but
that's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, yeah, the situation the same. The people are been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people, and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be...
In the new context, does anybody see what I just saw? I'm here to talk, I'm here to interrupt until you mentioned that time that Vladimir Putin didn't honor the contract. Until you mentioned that time that Vladimir Putin null and voided the diplomacy that you're supposedly talking about. And instead, Vance says this.
But he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have...
People, it's 42 minutes in. And now it's disrespectful to litigate this in front of the camera. You understand what I'm saying, Laura? Does everybody get me here?
And then, later on when Trump says, oh, and this is why I let it go on so long, because I wanted to be transparent about our humiliation and Putin.
Right. So,
acquiescence.
Understand this. JD Vance is there. No other vice president would be in this room. There would be no cameras there. It turns out that Russia TV was in there. Nobody knows how they got there. We know how they got there. The same reason why ONN TV is there. Right. How did Russia TV, did they sneak in with the Sony camera? What's happening? What happens is Putin told our boy here, JD Vance, the couch fucker, to be there to ensure that this doesn't go through. And anytime...
Oh, so that's why little Marco's on the couch, to stop JD from fucking it.
Right. Well, I don't know. Maybe he's there to watch.
Sorry.
Maybe he's there to watch. We don't know. They're all sick. So this is the pretext. Guys, I promise you, after this, it won't go this long, because we're going to talk. We got Canadian news. We got more to talk about. I'm giving you a timeline because I want you to see something and take it to your office tomorrow. This is important. Are you ready? Okay, I'm hoping you're ready. I'm hoping you're ready. With everything that you've just seen, we know that JD Vance was there for that purpose. 46 minutes in, you want to litigate this because you talked about a contract. I'm here. You're being disrespectful in front of the camera, trying to litigate this. The truth is, my friends, this is where we are. We're just going to watch this video, and I'll be quiet because I have a cold.
I want to buy your house. I can pay you cash for your house, no matter what condition it's in. If you need to sell your house for any reason, click the link in this.
What you're about to see.
The perfect call. The Director of National Intelligence, Dan Coats, Republican from Indiana, quit as Director of National Intelligence. Last year, Dan Coats gave an interview to Bob Woodward saying he was convinced Putin was blackmailing Trump at the time, unquote. Google it. Get the Woodward book. This stuff is a waterfall of indictments, and it's hard to keep track of all this. Google Dan Coats, Director of National Intelligence, Republican, tells Bob Woodward he was convinced Putin was blackmailing Trump at the time. Director of National Intelligence, in charge of all our intelligence agencies, Republican from Indiana, Dan Coats, said last year Putin was blackmailing Trump. And the yawn in this country, deafening. Nobody, oh, okay, all right. Now,
when I say Trump is compromised, it's not because I'm a YouTuber looking for clicks. It's not because I'm being hyperbolic. The Director of National Intelligence, when Trump was in office, trying to deny Ukraine weapons again, got on the phone to extort Ukraine again. The director quit and then told us that he was being blackmailed by Putin 5 years ago. He's not only compromised, he's working for and under duress and straight up asset of Russia. His new handlers are Elon Musk, who makes money from Starlink in Russia, who meets with Russian dictators over the phone and in person for the past 4 years, who's also being indicted by the same people he is now defunding. They had him under indictment. FAA fired them all. Under indictment, being looked at for indictment from U.S. aid. He's now in control of it. His other handler, JD Vance, who has been taking money from Russia, who has all of a sudden turned a new leaf, that the person who he called Hitler, all of a sudden is now his vice president. And the only time you've seen him in the past 3 months was this time. Anybody else seen Vance? He was stuck under a couch cushion for 2 months. Nobody knew where he was. You see what I'm saying, Laura? Mm-hmm. If Elon wasn't there, his main handler, his second handler would do. Putin made sure of that. Elon couldn't be there that day. So he had Vance on the couch, told him to pull up his pants for a change and sit the right way around so that you can control this. And that's what he did. Every single move in that Oval Office was directed by, controlled by, manipulated by, and orchestrated by a faraway land under a faraway dictator. Am I making myself clear? In case I'm not, I'll end it with this.
This all goes back to before Trump was even elected president. I am rereading American Compromat by Craig Unger. If you want to read who I believe to be the best writer on this, pick up the books of the great Craig Unger. He's written extensively on Trump being a Russian asset. Craig Unger says there is no question that Trump is a Russian asset. What Unger says, and it's really interesting, is he may not be breaking the law.
Crime is down. Jobs are up.
There's 4 books. I'll be putting them when this is done. Craig Unger, and of course Bob Woodward. There's 4 books. 3, I think, by Unger. I'll be putting the ones I can remember. America's laws are too lax, and he may not be breaking the law, but he is a Russian asset. And in these books, people in the highest level knew that he was a Russian asset. People at the highest level knows that he's a Russian asset. And now he's put other Russian assets in charge of intelligence, in charge of the military, in charge of the FBI, and in charge of every single agency that would stop him. Trump may be a dictator, but our leader, our dear leader, is Vladimir Putin. Our dear.
And today.
Go ahead.
Today he cut off the. I'm losing my vocabulary. He cut off in communications to Ukraine. Something.
Yeah, he is no longer. So now. So I just hope that clears it up for everybody. There's no hyperbole here. This is it. The KGB expert has won. The white flag has been raised. The only thing we have left to do is fight. That's the difference. They can't send tanks and planes here. So they're winning the war of espionage. They're winning the war of puppets. We fight in numbers, and they can't win. We fight with our money. We fight with our feet. We fight by not showing up. We fight by organizing, as we're doing. I'll see you guys on March 14th in D.C. for the Veterans March. I want it to be so big they can't deny it. The 15th, it's going to be too big. We're going to march right on to Fox News so that they can show it. We can fight and win. We can literally stop them from having town halls. You're seeing that going on. So remember that. I'm giving you this not as a dire warning there's nothing to do, but as an invitation to fight the enemy on our terms, not theirs, because there's only about 9 months left that we have that option. That's what I'm saying. Now, what Laura was talking about, they're not sharing any intelligence secrets with Ukraine. So that means Ukraine's eyes and ears are blinded. They cannot see. They're in the battlefield and blind.
Paused.
It is a coward's revenge.
Well, somebody was saying that, it's bad, but the U.S. and others have been training the Ukrainians on how to gather intelligence and stuff on their own, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, these guys are fighters. People, I don't know how they've been doing it. I don't know how they've been doing it. Ukraine has been, I mean, I know how they've been doing it. They've been getting help, but even before that, like, they just will not give up. And we pray that they can do whatever they can to win this war, do whatever they can to gain back every bit of their land.
That setup, that trap, that fiasco in the Oval Office was also a good way for the old McLiar face to say, see, I would have ended the war in 24 hours if it wasn't for that darn Zelensky being mean to me or something.
Exactly.
Not thankful enough.
Exactly. This wasn't thankful enough.
He doesn't want peace. He needs to say he wants peace and say thank you.
And all the while, he's just there circle jerking Putin. So what's the EU response? Here's the next thing on the list, guys. The EU response. I'm wondering what I can say. Right. There's certain things that I know that I'm not allowed to say. I will say this. Here's what I will say. The EU is not playing around. They're gathering forces and weapons. They're sending forces and weapons all over Europe to fortify Europe. But do not be fooled that it's not just for Trump. I mean, not just for Putin, excuse me, Freudian slip. It's for us.
Yeah.
Do not be fooled. Because guess what? We told them what side we're on. And now we're doing exactly what good allies do for friendly nations. We're cutting off intelligence to our enemies, Ukraine. Got it? Stop watching the news the minute they start talking about allies. Those are gone. Our allies are Iran, Russia, North Korea, Erdogan, and sometimes China, like the vowels. That's it.
Don't forget Netanyahu.
And Netanyahu. Those are our allies. Netanyahu he's about to find out too. We're Nazis. They're Nazis. You think that you're allies with Netanyahu? You're also wrong. They're going to scrub the ground with Palestinian blood and then go Heil Trump the minute they get there to build their golden statues. And Israel is also not safe. I don't know about you, but in my recollection, Nazis don't like Jews. So you go ahead and do what you think is right, Netanyahu, because what you're doing is the same thing everybody else did. They're in the Republican Party right now. They're willing to go to bed with the people who they know will destroy them for immediate gain. Isn't it ironic? You tell me the last Nazi that loves Israel. I'll shut this show down. So, yeah, that's where we're at. The EU's response is adversarial. That's the EU's response. It's adversarial, YouTube. It's adversarial. Laura can tell you better than me because their response is except for the war games they're playing, except for the shipping of ammunition across nations that I happen to know about, except for EU nations right now turning away U.S. ships in the water, naval ships, not food, not trade, military. Where we all
now that was a Norwegian company, I believe.
Which
it wasn't the entire. It wasn't the entire country of Norway that shut off the gas. Shut them off. It was just one company, I think, in Norway. I think they got reconnected with somebody else, but yeah.
So I'm not sure what we're talking about. The same one.
Hang on.
Well, I'll check it from what I
Okay, Norwegian energy firm halts fuel supply to U.S. Navy fleet.
There we go. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, people. That's where we are. That's the EU response, and it's the correct response because we are not their allies. We got to fight for that. We're in control by a weirdo orange leader being puppeted around by even worse weirdos who are Russian assets. The EU's not playing around. They said that they're going to have to. Macron just said that he has no problem. He's been trying to make sure the EU's been more self-sufficient, and they're going to be helping Ukraine fund the war. Maybe they should.
And Justin Trudeau is very pleased to be there with the EU with the discussions, emergency meetings.
Yeah, he's been invited. By the way, both France and Canada have decided to start getting their energy, gasoline, from other places, saying that the United States is not a reliable partner anymore. So we can look forward to that. And that brings us to the dumbest trade war ever. As a matter of fact, let's stop there. We need some music. I just wanted to what do you got to say? There is no good news. This is where we are, people. This is where we are. Hold on, I need some music. Let's get the music back. Come on, let's get the music.
Yeah. Casper says they're getting a new arms factory in Northern Ireland. Mm-hmm. Sorry. Go ahead. Let's hit that.
All right. You know, I was supposed to play that music.
Hey, Ross.
I was supposed to play that music when we got our super chats too. So that's for Cats. That's for Casper. That's for Cats. For quite a few people here. That's for Tumblr, the Tumblr witch. Yeah. Okay. Let's get my microphone back on. All right, I'm here. So that's the dystopian award. The EU response is pitch perfect because they see it. They know exactly what happened. In case you were worried that maybe I'm being, hyperbolic, the proof is in the pudding. What a country does for their allies is things like withhold intelligence and secrets and information from their allies' enemies. And that's what we just did with Ukraine today. Now, the stupidest trade war of all time? Well, not only stupid because it's our best friends. Laura, we love you. It's not us. We're not doing this.
I know.
We're not doing this.
It's going to hurt you more than it'll hurt us.
I feel like the belt's coming out. That's what happens when the belt comes out, huh? It's also stupid because the person running it has no idea of what he wants. I don't know if it's like Putin told him this years ago and said, hey, just start doing it like this, or if he just came a wild hair in his ass and was like, I'm just going to start doing tariffs. Like somebody told him what a tariff was because, he didn't learn anything going in through school. And he was like, oh. And he stopped halfway through. He's like, I know. His Dunning-Kruger specimen mind, like, oh, tariff. Oh, yeah, I love it. Beautiful word. I'm going to start doing that. I don't know what he was thinking, but you know that he has no idea what he's doing because even today, not even 48 hours after the tariffs, 25% tariffs across the board on Canada and Mexico, he says, well, you know what? Maybe not the cars. But we're going to stop that. We're going to pause the cars till next month, but 25% on everything else. This is the dumbest trade war of all time because it's being waged by the dumbest person in the history of America to ever gain power. And he has no idea what he's doing. Stock market's crashing. Businesses are firing people because they don't know what they can or can't do. Nobody can plan for the future.
No. Like, who's going to come in and build a company in the United States to fulfill his wishes? Not with that kind of backward stealing.
Well, number one,
jeez,
you're 100% right that whatever goodwill we had to even encourage that type of thing, we've lost. But number two, that's not how companies work. You have to provide incentives for companies. There has to be a reason a company can come back. They can use slave labor in China or Bangladesh to make their stuff. That's just the facts. You know why? Because they have an incentive to make it over there. It's cheaper. That's why. They never had to pull a tariff on us, but they got the business. So we need incentives. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, as of this morning, they had a phone call, Trudeau and the dummy, and when he couldn't be convinced that he was completely wrong about everything, he went back to whining about the fentanyl, and when that failed, he said, when are the elections? And when Trudeau couldn't answer him because there's a lot of things that have to happen first, he got really mad. There's no more room to negotiate.
Are you serious? What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
As a matter of fact,
do I still have to deal with this Trudeau governor guy? When are you having elections? I want my little pet Polyev.
Can you imagine YouTube? Can you imagine being president of the richest and most powerful country in the world up until yesterday? Can you imagine being the leader of the free world and not one time reading a book about your neighbor's elections and how they work? Not once. In a trade war that you started, and not one time picking up a newspaper from Canada. You have intelligence at your fingertips, Laura. There's a team of the smartest people on earth at your fingertips. And not one time has he ever said, I wonder how this shit works.
No, he has a very big brain. I think maybe he had an uncle who went to Canada once, and so now he knows everything about Canada. You know, just by his good genes.
Hey, listen, I had an uncle who drove a car over the Canadian border, and when he came back, magically, I know all there is to know about Canada. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. So, yeah, you know what? I want you to tell us about Canada. I want to see some more videos about this because, believe it or not, for the first time, I'm rooting for the other team, guys.
Yeah, and speaking of rooting, we're all pissed off at Wayne Gretzky for his shameful behavior, and I'm sure if you haven't seen them, he walked out. He was the honorary captain of the Canadian team during that, what was it, Four Nations finals. And when Canada won in overtime, he came out on the American side of the rink wearing a suit, barely looked at the Canadian team. You know, he didn't even bother wearing a Canada hat, nothing.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, and he appeared at the inauguration, and then he went whining to Daddy Donald to not make him justify himself for all these things Donald keeps saying about the 51st state, and you'd make a great governor or prime minister, Gretzky, and all this shit. So Trump made him a free agent, so he wouldn't have to come out and explain himself to us. So there's that.
That makes me feel a little bit better. Like, we're not the only idiots. Who does that? Like, what? Wayne freaking Gretzky?
No, I mean, he's the reason I really got into hockey in the 80s. I loved the team, loved all the players, and I even went to his junior league team games in Hull, Quebec in the 80s. You know, he was a hell of a player, but god damn.
Greed? What is, it's the greed, man.
It's gotta be.
You are a king.
Did Gretzky have something unsavory that they're holding over his head done, like, you know, more blackmail or what? Or did he take too many pucks to the head? Although he was one of the least injured players ever because everybody covered his ass.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't understand.
What is it?
I don't understand it. I don't understand it. This greed is getting crazy. Before you even continue with the Canadian news, people, Laura Malcolm with the Canadian Drain. We're going to do some Canadian news now. Get some news from across the border there. But before you...
I hope to be able to do some Canadian Drain lives with some Canadian guests at some point.
I wanted to say, before we even do that, you may see that the Tate brothers here, of course, Donald Trump gets the sexual traffickers, underage grapists, the Tate brothers, and tries to send them to Mar-a-Lago. I think the governor there was kind of like, we don't want them here. So that's still going on, but they're out of jail because of Trump. But hey, QAnon followers, you're loving those kids, huh? Except for the fact that every person you know who's doing something to them is the people who you vote for or the people you're voting for letting them go. But anyway, I wanted to answer Or Peace Dude. Or Peace Dude said, talked about Mexico was suing the U.S. gun makers today in the Supreme Court. How do you think that's going? I think the Supreme Court is going to make it last as long as they made Donald Trump's trial last. As long as it needs to not go anywhere. So I wouldn't expect to hear anything about that anytime soon. All right, go ahead. Canadian news. What you got? What you got, Laura?
Well, Charlie Angus has been really making himself quite popular via the Midas Touch, but also on the Canadian news. He had a few choice words for some counter-protesters when they were out there supporting Ukraine on the anniversary of the war starting. Do you have that short video?
I got it here. let's do this. So
Charlie rocks. I wish he would run for prime minister, but he'd retired from politics. Who knows?
Charlie Angus. So what I'm gonna do, Laura, I'm gonna make it so that you can see the desktop as well. Hopefully. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. All right, let's watch this. And they're outside of the, what's it called in here? The Russian embassy or something like that?
Yeah, you stand outside the Russian embassy and repeat Putin's talking point. Fuck off, Putin troll.
You and your party actually, you're doing all these extremists that have to call.
Yeah, you are.
Watermark is extremist. Without
you are an extremist.
How so? Can you provide any evidence?
Yeah, you're standing outside here supporting Putin, you fucking troll. Yeah, I support Ukraine. I support Ukraine. I support Ukraine. Who supports Ukraine? We all support Ukraine. Who supports Putin fascist? You're a Putin fascist. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 fascist, 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 Putin troll, Putin troll, Putin troll. I support Ukraine any day of the week. I support Ukraine, and you're a fascist. Yeah, we support Ukraine because you're a fascist. You're a fascist, yeah. Yeah, you support Putin, yeah. Yeah. We support Ukraine any day of the week. So you can go fuck off, you fascist, you Putin troll, Putin troll, Putin troll. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, good on Charlie.
Hey, America, that's how you do it. Okay, good, I'm back.
Yeah, he gave a longer response today. You can look it up on YouTube, where Midas Touch covered it.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. I got a lot of respect.
He went straight at them. Yeah, I do. I do respect, I do support Ukraine, and you are a Russian troll. Go F yourself. How about them apples? Right? We can't be scared,
right,
guys.
Mac?
We can't be scared. You want me to show the one from today?
Well, it's a little longer, but sure.
It's up to you. All right.
We can, yeah, go for it. I love me some Charlie.
Boche, bonjour. I'm Charlie Angus, here on the unceded territory of the Algonquin Nation, Parliament Hill, Canada, to talk about where we stand with the latest threats from Donald Trump. Once again, he's huffing and puffing and threatening to blow our nation away. And like last time, as soon as Canada stands up and shows that we are not afraid, suddenly the MAGA crews start backpedaling and maybe there's going to be a deal in the works, maybe they're going to have something figured out. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not here to give anyone false hope, because Canadians understand that this is not a trade war we're talking about. This is a war by other means. A war of disinformation and ridicule, questioning our right to exist, our sovereignty, our borders, very much the way Vladimir Putin launched his disinformation war in the years leading up to the brutal invasion of Ukraine. It's a siege war. He's poking us and trying to see if there's divisions, if there's fear. What he's learning very quickly, and what the world is learning, is that Canadians know what is at stake, and we will not bend or break. Because Donald Trump believes we have no right as a nation, and we will always be there for our nation. But I want to compare what's happening in Canada to the dumpster fire USA. Because what we've seen in just 60 days is that Donald Trump has burned up the great American century. He's burned through his alliances with key allies. He's burned through America's leadership role on the international stage with his disgusting attack on President Zelensky and his willingness to put America on side with North Korea and Russia. So this is how the great American century ends. It's not with a bang or with a whimper. It's like some kind of tacky roadshow for the World Wrestling Federation. And now Donald Trump has decided to go further by blowing...
Wait. You can't just keep going. Is this guy a comedian? Oh my God. This is... I haven't heard anything that funny in a while. I'm going to let it go. I won't rewind it. I won't subject you to that. This dude is hilarious. All right.
Blowing apart the greatest economic trade relationship in history, plunging our nation and our people into chaos. But what he's really doing is making America weaker, more divided, more alone. And we know that Canada will stand up and Canada will push back. And American jobs will suffer and the American economy is suffering. So now the world looks to Canada and wonders, well, just who are these Canadians? Do they have what it takes to stand up to the Proud Boys in Washington? They're learning very quickly that yes, we're a nation and we like to squabble. And we like to disagree with one another, but when you come at us, we come back hard. Call it our Juno Beach gene. Canadians understand what's ahead. They know that this is going to be hard. They know that people will suffer, and that there will families who will be hurt. There's no getting around that. But they also know that Canadians will stand together, just as we've always stood. I want to give a shout out this morning, it's why I'm here, to the amazing leaders who are on the front lines defending Canada. The countless Canadians who have been reaching out to me about canceling vacations to Arizona, canceling honeymoons in South Carolina, canceling business trips and conventions in Vermont and Florida. People who've taken a personal cost. Now that might not seem like a big deal, but these are the decisions being made at kitchen tables across our nation to stand with Canada or to give in. I want to give a shout out to the moms and the grandmoms who call me from all across this nation, who tell me they take that extra time in the grocery store to make sure that nothing from the United States ends up in their grocery baskets. A big shout out to the Canadian artists who are boycotting South by Southwest in Texas this year, the biggest music festival for Canadian artists, a decision that will cost their careers, but they would rather stand up for Canada than be divided. And I want to give a special shout out to the new Canadian voices that I heard on CBC yesterday, the people, first-generation Canadians in Scarborough, who are on the lowest part of the economic rung, who they know when economic hard times come, they're going to take the first hit. And they talked about how proud they were, how they felt more unified as being Canadian than ever before. And that's the issue that I'm here to point out. Because in America right now, Donald Trump and the MAGA crew want to have a nation run by white men for white men. And they think that makes them tough. And they look on us and think we're weak because we're decent and we're democratic and we're inclusive. But that is our strength. Because we're not afraid about what pronouns someone uses. We're not angry by who someone marries. We come together across racial lines. We celebrate our linguistic diversity. We celebrate our regional diversity. We celebrate the fact that we are a settler population on the indigenous territories of this nation And yeah, we get a lot wrong. And yeah, we're a work in progress. But when push comes to shove, we are indivisible.
Yeah, for the win. For the win.
Yeah.
We stand together. We are one.
For the win. Charlie Angus.
Good Charlie.
Man.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, man, I got nothing to say. He said it all. What a sad day for political drain. I served this country willingly, and I volunteered, not because I needed the money, not because I needed college money, not because I came from a place where they usually prey on those kids to make them join. I joined because I literally loved and do love and still love the ideals that the country strive for, how the country benefited me and my family when we immigrated from Jamaica. And I stand here today siding with another country because mine has turned into dog shit, white supremacist Nazis. And before I let that happen, I would die. So I'm fighting.
Well, Canada is there to fight with you, and we thank you for fighting alongside our troops too. Yeah. We all fought together against common enemy or for a common cause, and we're with you there with any sane states or factions that want to fight back in whatever way. We're there for you.
The sane folks. What's can I play the
I've probably been to more U.S. states than most Americans or Americans.
I bet you have. Most people are well traveled. And you know, the Canada and U.S., I mean, it was like one country. We were happy knowing that we could cross over the border anytime, man. Anyway, what's going on with Trudeau? Talk to me.
Well, when he called the trade war dumb and went on about, we're going to hit back with everything we got, dollar for dollar, Team Canada, rah, rah, rah. Apparently, I was allowed to use this anecdote. One of my chat members said that her, I forget if it's her mother or grandmother who's suffering from dementia, was watching, and she said, "Good, hit them back." So even an elderly woman suffering with dementia knows this is a dumb trade war.
Wow.
And aside from that, Trudeau has been shining through, giving him that extra little glow. He was starting to lose in the last few years. He's back on top of the world. Like I said, he was grinning ear to ear, proud to be part of the European Union talks. And he met with the king, and liberals are going up in the polls, and the conservatives are going down, but not quite enough yet. But like I said, too, that he couldn't give an answer to the president, the orange man, couldn't give him an answer about when the election is. Well, Poilievre and the conservatives are demanding we get back into parliament as soon as possible so he can pull an election lever while he's still got a lead. Right, Alberta's taking a lot of heat.
Which one of these videos do we play first here? Is it the one?
Well, yeah, you can give the bottom one there, Trudeau's response. I think that's the one where he himself was quoted calling it dumb. Scroll down a little bit, the last one, I think.
This one?
Yeah, the bottom one.
Okay. Where it says we need to...
Oh, yeah, Casper says, Keir Starmer brought up JD Vance's comment on armies that hadn't fought a war in 40 years. Yeah.
Is the one that says we need to be able to recognize the Russian threat, or the one above that?
Oh, OR peace, dude. Good night. Thanks for stopping by.
Good night,
Good to see you.
All right, I'll just try this one. Let's see.
Get ready for more tariff whiplash. The auto sector is getting a 1-month reprieve. Maybe it was the markets tanking or pressure from business leaders to dial down the little disturbance, as Donald Trump called it during his address to Congress last night. Today, the Commerce Secretary went into spin mode, and there was a phone call between Justin Trudeau and Donald Trump, accompanied by his posse, the Vice President and the Commerce Secretary. CTV senior political correspondent Michael Couture is here to start us off. Okay, Mark.
Is it this one?
Mike, where do we begin? Let's start with that phone call.
Yeah, so Sandy, here's what we know about it. It lasted about 50 minutes, and it ended in a friendly manner, according to President Trump. Now, it was a conversation between the Prime Minister, Trump, Vice President JD Vance, and Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. And it appears there has been some progress.
We are going to give a 1-month exemption on any autos coming through USMCA.
That carve-out was driven by a call Trump had with the heads of Stellantis, GM, and Ford. Other reciprocal tariffs are still scheduled to go into effect on April 2nd. But Ontario's Premier doesn't want a reprieve. He wants tariffs removed.
Spoke to the Prime Minister earlier. We're on the same page, 0 tariffs, and we are not going to budge. We aren't going to buckle down. Let's move forward to the USMCA deal or the Kuzma deal or NAFTA, whatever you want to call it, and let's start moving forward. But we will not budge, 0 tariffs, and that's it.
Ford believes the pause for the auto sector came from a push by U.S. business leaders.
They're voicing their opinion. They're frustrated. The CEOs, the market tanked. That's what really caught his attention.
In a post on his social media, President Trump said the flow of fentanyl from Canada remains the reason for the tariffs. He added Trudeau told him it's gotten better. But Trump responded, quote, "That's not good enough."
We need to see the Canadians and Mexicans put long-lasting protections in to protect America. Not this, I'm doing a lot of work for the last 3 weeks. Give me a break.
While there is a carve-out for autos, 25% tariffs on all other imports and 10% taxes on energy remain. Daniel Smith has ruled out an export tax to make Alberta oil even more expensive for Americans, focusing instead on selling to other markets.
So until our U.S. friends come back to reality, we will focus on efforts and financial means to export one of the largest oil and gas deposits in the world elsewhere.
Now let's go back to that phone call for just a second. According to Trump's social media post, the president found it odd that Trudeau wasn't able to tell him when the next federal election would be held. Trump posted that Trudeau was using this issue to stay in power. Still, the Prime Minister's office says both countries will continue to remain in contact throughout the day.
All right, let's see. I want to know what they call him dumb. I want to hear Trudeau call this guy dumb.
I want to believe that the US will stand by our side, but we have to be ready for that not to be the case. Whether we reach peace.
All right, I know the one, man. I got you. Yeah, Macron's like, yo, we need to be self-sufficient in the EU.
Confirmation that Canada has now filed a complaint with the World Trade Organization over the new U.S. tariffs. Word of that coming as we learn more about that phone call between Donald Trump and Justin Trudeau earlier today. The CBC's Megan Fitzpatrick is in the U.S. Capitol with the details.
This phone call has happened, and we're learning some details about it thanks to Donald Trump posting about it on social media and his description of how things went. We knew they were due to talk today, and let's just take a look at what he's posted on social media. So Trump is saying that Trudeau called him to ask what more could be done to alleviate the tariffs. Trump writing that he told Trudeau many people have died from fentanyl that's come through the borders. And the key quote here, Andrew, is where Trump writes, "Nothing has convinced me that it has stopped." Trudeau apparently argued that it has gotten better, but Trump is saying it's not good enough. And this is an interesting part of the description of the phone call, too. He says it ended in a, quote, somewhat friendly manner. And then he goes on to talking about the Canadian election, which I suspect Karina can elaborate on a little bit more. But Trump followed up this tweet with another one shortly after. And in this one, he refers to Justin Trudeau as governor, which is something that he has started doing in the context of talking about Canada becoming a 51st state. For anyone who's interested, I told Governor Justin Trudeau of Canada that he largely caused the problems we have with them because of his weak border policies, which allowed tremendous amounts of fentanyl.
What a piece of crap. All right, I want to hear this one. Let's see, maybe
new this morning, Donald Trump says he's spoken to Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau since those tariffs took effect. The US President writing in, it was quite extensive, as you can see there on Truth Social. Justin Trudeau called.
Sky News, I don't like that either. Which one is it? Well, I'm trying to find it.
Global News has confirmed
Prime
Minister Justin Trudeau and U.S. President Donald Trump spoke for about an hour on the phone Wednesday morning. Now, the two leaders talked about trade and fentanyl. They were joined by U.S. Vice President JD Vance and Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick. It's unclear at this point if the call moved the needle on the issue of tariffs. This comes a day after Trump went through with his plan.
No, it's the same stuff. All right, one more. We're going to try one more. Is it one?
I may have not found one with him actually saying it out of his mouth.
Oh, wait.
But
there we go. Boom. It's my fault. I thought it was at the end.
But as promised, let's talk tariffs for the next few minutes, because big developments on that global story today. And in the last 30 minutes, you may have seen the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, announce that they are putting together plans to challenge the US tariffs that have been announced at the World Trade Organization, saying it's a violation of an existing free trade agreement between the countries. President Trump's tariffs on Mexico, on Canada and China came into effect today. The tariffs are 25% taxes on goods from Mexico and Canada and an additional 10% on Chinese products, bringing that total to 20%. The announcement sent US and European stocks sharply down. Well, Canada's Prime Minister, talking at a news conference just a short while ago, slammed the measures as illegal action, saying Canada will keep its tariffs on US goods in place until America removes theirs. And the country was also considering other options.
I won't sugarcoat it. This is going to be tough, even though we're all going to pull together, because that's what we do. We will use every tool at our disposal so Canadian workers and businesses can weather this storm. From expanding EI benefits and making them more flexible to providing direct supports to businesses, we will be there as needed to help. But Canada, make no mistake, no matter how long this lasts, no matter what the cost, the federal government and other orders of government will be there for you. We will defend Canadian jobs. We will take measures to prevent predatory behavior that threatens Canadian companies because of the impacts of this trade war, leaving them open to takeovers. We will relentlessly fight to protect our economy. We will stand up for Canadians every single second of every single day, because this country is worth fighting for. It's not in my habit to agree with the Wall Street Journal. But Donald, they point out that even though you're a very smart guy, this is a very dumb thing to do.
Well, let's speak to the former chief economist of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Patrick Lowe. And
I don't need no more than that. I don't need no more than that.
Well, he didn't have to agree that with the Times about the smart guy.
Yeah.
But
he's still with that.
I'm getting a bit of an echo.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. Let me see.
Okay. Yeah, that was projecting leadership there. And old Doug O. Ford got his third term in Ontario as premier, and he went rushing down to the U.S. again to go on another media tour. Speaking of huffing and puffing, he's still playing Mr. Tough Guy, and he's now ripped up the Starlink agreement for a second time. Ooh. Let's hope he sticks with it this time. I mean, Ontario was the only province that even wanted to think about talking to Musk about anything. So let's hope that that's a dead in the water done deal. And also, there's over 300,000 signatures now on the petition to kick Musk or get his citizenship revoked.
Really?
So it's got to be up to 500,000 now, because that was like a couple days ago.
I forgot that Musk had Canadian citizenship.
Yeah, his mother was born in Saskatchewan, I believe, if not Alberta. Yeah, so he moved there when he was in his teens, and then down to the States.
All right. Well, look, I hope that they get that Starlink out of there. Anything that
fuck that.
Yeah, man. We need anything we can do to not make Muskrat get any more money. We need to do. And
yeah, love seeing the Tesla Chargers getting torched. Yeah.
Yes. So you may have noticed if you clicked on this. I know it's almost 11, so we'll run through these final ones. But there was an eruption in Hawaii. I don't have it up here. Do you know anything more about it? I don't think it was kind of like dangerous. I think people knew that it was coming.
No, it wasn't like the one a couple of years back that was really destructive, but it was still spectacular.
We've got eruptions. We got disasters. We got earthquakes in Canada and Washington and Oregon. Yep. Fires everywhere. This is the worst time to have a mentally disabled orange spray paint. Sorry. Orange spray paint. Idiot. Fool. This is the worst time. And not just him, but the people who he has in place. They want to get rid of FEMA. National Security Advisor, get rid of FEMA. The Health and Safety Advisor, get rid of vaccines. The Education Department, get rid of public schools. Oh, you can't hear me? They said they can't hear me. Can you hear me now?
Seems okay now.
Okay.
Right. Cats. It's low, but...
Yeah. You said it was low. I just turned it up a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so I'm back up. So it's the absolute worst time. But I will say this. I'm going to end it with the feckless Democrat responses from yesterday's thing. I wasn't even sure if I wanted. I wasn't even sure if I wanted to deal with that. But what I will do is I'll deal with that at the end. We'll talk about that at the end. Right now, I want to talk about these protests. Yesterday, I was in crisis response team for SOL, doing a Boston.
Thank you.
A Boston march. That was one of the 50-51 protests, and it went well. One of our people actually spoke there, so I wanted to give my whole crisis response team, if you're watching this, guys, big time shout out. And we did that kind of as a dry run for the big one. Washington, D.C., people, if you're here, Washington, D.C. on the 14th, we're all going to be there. I'm running crisis response, so I personally can't be there. I have a team that keeps people safe, make sure people get home safe, make sure people get there safe. We have eyes in the sky. That's what I do. But I need you there. If you can get there, the 14th, if you can take the day. I know not everybody can afford that. But if you can take the day, we need to show up on the doorstep of these people and let them know that if you're not coming to our town halls, we're coming to you. And we're being nice. We're being nice about it. Very shortly, I believe the Farmers Index and a few other monetary watchdogs said by the end of next week, the things that we used to buy, we won't be able to buy anymore, and still stay in budget. We're being nice. We're showing up with veterans to show that we don't like that you're taking away the veterans' assistance, firing them. You're taking away our ability to get help after we fought your wars. They're taking away the very things that we fought for, and then degrading us on TV. Now, before you know it, being a veteran is going to be like another woke. It's just another word that they use.
Oh, man.
I swear, I'm telling you, guys, I'm listening to it. I'm watching it happen. All they got to do is say it. And now veterans don't deserve this and don't deserve that. The same people.
Well, Habba said it today. They don't deserve to work.
Yeah,
they don't deserve their job.
She said maybe they don't deserve to work here. And just like that. So, on the 14th, in Washington, D.C., 12 o'clock, be there. Be there. Sons of Liberty will be there.
If you can't be there, can they go, I guess they can congregate around in their own cities or states, too?
So what I want you to do is, if you can't be there, then you will be able to go to, being there is so important, guys. That's for the 14th. Being there is so important. I promise you. That's where we need to be. But if you cannot, if it's impossible, you can go to, now, let me put this in here. Now, march.org and see where else they're holding it. There are a few other places.
Good.
I'm going to post something tomorrow. I already posted a piece of it, and it's a live we did with Jessica Danson and Cliff Cash, the comedian Cliff Cash, who are running this thing. And on the 15th, they're planning on staying over. All the veterans, all the people who are marching for those people who are getting fired for being woke, for DEI, and for Doge nonsensical reasons. We're staying over to do a media march on the doorsteps of Fox News, because I don't know if you know this or not, there's been marches every week with tens of thousands of people showing up. You know why you don't know? Because the media has not been covering it.
Because the media won't tell you.
They won't show you. So we decided we'll go there instead. How about that? How about that? We're going to go there during the time that they're on the air, and we're going to gather in thousands right there in D.C. where they have their headquarters, and we're going to be at MSNBC and say, do you see us now? Because we're being nice. The higher these prices get, the more baby formula people have to find out how to scrounge. The more people lose their jobs.
You thought the pandemic was bad? Whoa.
I guarantee you, this is not a threat. I guarantee you. America right now has a lot of idiots in it, sure. But for the most part, most of us are okay with violence.
Sock it to him.
Okay. I'm just telling you. I don't know if you've noticed. Right now we're being nice. The number one cause for crime, violent crime and theft, is poverty. Watch what happens as the prices keep raising. And it's no longer just the people you can throw away that have to deal with the poverty. They have to listen to us now or later. I will not stop fighting. Big Sarge will not stop fighting. We will be organized, and we're winning. I'm just telling you. Don't give up.
Someone on another channel said it would be either a class war, a civil war, or a guerrilla war, but one way or another, they gotta go.
They gotta go.
Like I said at the beginning, Canadians stand with you. However, you sane people want to fight back against this. You done pissed off some Canadians, eh? We're cold-blooded. I tell you.
I know. I've never seen the type of sarcasm come from somebody that didn't have deep down inside that that quiet threat of violence. They were just being nice by choice. Yo, it's happening. Drill sergeant is fighting. Drill sergeant is fighting. Join the Discord of SOL, Sons of Liberty. There's over 7,000 people there now. We're fighting. We're fighting. If you think you have what it takes to get vetted thoroughly, and you want to do something a little more, you want to join the Drill Sergeant Special Ops team, you think you have what it takes, email me. Email me. You get vetted thoroughly. And we've been fighting behind the scenes. We've been fighting to be a force multiplier, and we will not stop. You're not alone out there. Everything we've been saying is dystopian. I know, it sounds tough. It's hard, but you're not alone. We're fighting. All we need is for you to join us. Meet us there. Meet us at the march. Find out what you can do. Find out how you can support. What can you spend? What can you say? Who can you motivate? Who can you call? Will you answer the call when we call? Who can you email? Who are you supporting? We're fighting. We're not giving up. And I'll end with this. All the town halls and the FAFOs, I wish we could get there. But I'll end with this because this is what, I'm not depending. I'm not going to sit here and depend on our Congress to do anything. It's up to us to get this guy out. And as those masses start to, you see that they gave up going to the town halls, Laura, because they're scared. They know.
You know, just like I said, like you said, bring it to them. They don't want to come to the town halls. Go to their offices. Keep flooding those phones. Keep emailing. It's all pressure. You know, keep on keeping on.
The best
on them masks.
The best part about knowing that they're scared is knowing that that also means that we can scare them.
Yep.
Am I making myself clear? We can scare them. So when they tell you don't march, that's not going to do anything, that's a lie. When those same cowards who know that they're getting in bed with the devil sit there and clap the longest during a fake State of the Union address, it's not because they're smart or they have some cool plan. It's because they're scared. Our job is to induce more fear than the orange guy. That's our job. Imagine 10,000 people at their desk, in front of their office, surrounding their cars, in their streets, on their way home. Imagine 10,000 people on their trains, in front of their bus stops, at their shoe shop in D.C. Huh? I'm excited now. I'm excited. I live for this. I've been fighting all my life, like they said in The Color Purple. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Wanda from another great movie.
All right, so here we go. I'm done. I apologize. We're gonna end it with this good note right here, man. We're gonna end it with this.
Never
good
apologize.
Note. Sometimes I wish I was back in them days, running privates up the wall, man, waking them up early.
Drop your cocks and pull up your socks, boys.
Hey. Sometimes I wish, man. All right, guys, we're gonna end it with this absolute gem right here. This is the energy that we need. And many of you may have saw it because I put it up this morning early, like 1 a.m. But I like to end it knowing that even though most of these Democrats are feckless, and Elizabeth Warren sat there and clapped and smiled while this predator called her Pocahontas, called her a racial slur, and she sat and did a golf clap. It's not time for that. I understand that kind of protest. It works now and then. This is not those times. This is when you stand up and you piss on the seat. This is when you disobey the rules.
Damn right.
Democrats, this is when you disobey the rules. If you're obeying the rules, you're doing it wrong. This is when tables get flipped. This is when people's mics get grabbed. This is when people chain themselves to the doors outside. Democrats, you're wrong. Wearing pink will not work. Wearing pink and holding the sign will not work.
I didn't do it on purpose.
Yeah, well, you're in Canada. You're all right. But you don't show up to the State of the Union in pink and think you're protesting. You're not doing anything. You stand on the seat and you shout one at a time so that the monster, the fascist, the person destroying your government and your family cannot speak. That's how you protest. Like this lady here.
We should be doing. I don't even know why we fighting with Greenland. Why we fighting with Greenland? We fighting with Canada. We fighting with Mexico. Yet we in love with Putin. What is happening? Like this.
Let's do it. Let's do it. And this is it, guys. I'm gonna turn off my mic. I love all of you. Go get some merch.
All right. You do have allies. Don't forget.
And
You do have them. We're just
Your website on.
We got allies, guys. We have allies.
Hey, we're how ridiculous.
We're gonna give you the truth.
We should be doing. I don't even know why we fighting with Greenland. Why we fighting with Greenland?
25,000 and growing.
We
Let's
fighting
do
with
it.
Mexico. Yet we in love with Putin. What is happening? Like this is not America. This is a terrible nightmare. Somebody slap me and wake me the f up.
There's the Veterans March, guys. You see it there. Good and decent people of YouTube, I'm sure that you just saw that debacle of a State of the Russian Union address by the Tangerine Tornado himself, hell-bent on destroying our country in full destruction mode, as he yelled out racial slurs like Pocahontas, while she clapped with a light smile on. I mean, listen, people, what we just witnessed there was the rantings of a lunatic. And I am appalled. Him smile as he
vote for another war.
Let's go. Crime is down. Jobs are up. Our economy is strong. America, we are on our way.
Let's go. We'll get Greenland one way or another. What's your response?
Did y'all vote for another war? Because I don't know who's about to fight that war, but I'm not going. So y'all need to be paying attention because this dude is like really psychotic. This is not something that he campaigned on. And I want to know where the money gonna come from. Like it costs money to like go out and get into war. As you're complaining about giving money to Ukraine, who's fighting their own war, but we're talking about costing us in the pocketbook as well as costing us in actual lives, American lives. This is not what we should be doing. I don't even know why we fighting with Greenland. Why we fighting with Greenland? We fighting with Canada. We fighting with Mexico. Yet we in love with Putin. What is happening? Like this is not America. This is a terrible nightmare. Somebody slap me and wake me the fuck up because I'm ready to get on with it.
This dude wants to fund. He doesn't want to fund a defensive war in Europe, but he wants to fund an aggressive war. Absolutely insane.
While occupying Gaza. But okay.
And building towers, what do you say to voters who voted for Trump because they thought he would lower prices, and now they've only gotten trade wars and the alienation of allies?
This is what I say you got hoodwinked, and that's okay. That's okay. Because as I was just telling somebody just a minute ago, I have dated in my life. I know they've been talking about whether or not I'm married and all this stuff. I'm not married, never married, okay? Just want to get that out there. But I have dated. And I will say, any of us that have ever dated, we've been hoodwinked a time or two. But we didn't sat there and we thought that he was going to be so great for us because he sold us on all the things, or her, okay? And then we realized they ain't shit. That's where we are. And that's okay. What matters is that you wake up and you say, this is not the one for me. So even if you voted for him, what you should be doing right now is saying, he is not the one for me. And so if you decide that you're going to vote for a Democrat, whether it's in a local election, whether it's one of those special elections, because I want us to get those 3 seats so that Democrats can control the House, just know that it doesn't mean you're a Democrat. It really means that you're a patriot. It really means that you care about this country and you're tired of him dismantling it one agency at a time while throwing money into his pocket, his daggone son-in-law pocket, his daggone brother-in-law pocket, his daggone friend Elon, or the real, president. I don't know what the fuck Elon is, but whatever. Throwing money into his pockets, it's time out. They stealing our money. People that cannot afford food right now are going to have to carry everything on their backs and not have any Medicare, not have any Social Security, not have a way to put food on the table while they go off and have $60 million weddings like Bezos. And I explained, Bezos gonna have enough for the third wife, but this is second.
Yeah, and Trump and Elon are completely insulated from all the consequences of this, right? I mean, they're the richest people ever. Elon Musk is completely insulated from the consequences. I guess my final question to you relates to Ukraine. How did you read the Oval Office meeting between Zelensky and Trump?
It was awful. I was embarrassed because it was the opposite of what diplomacy should look like. And when you start to talk about, I need people to recognize that it was a terrible display of what we saw, okay? But I need them to understand the greater implications and what our allies saw. Our allies saw was someone who's supposed to be an ally that is sitting there and bullying another ally and is then also trying to extort him for the minerals that they will need ultimately as they're trying to rebuild. So extortion and belittling, that is not good for our allies to see, especially when you got people running around talking about invading all these other places. We need somebody who really understands that our friends and our enemies are watching. So I was devastated. I really was.
Thank you so much for chatting with us despite being incredibly tired. Yes. And the Midas and Touch Network loves to have you on.
Yes,
so
yes,
go get some rest.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? All right, guys. Sorry about that echo. Hope you got to hear it, though. That's a winner. We need some more Jasmine Crockett's, guys. That's a winner. And we're going to head on out. Take what you learned today. Inform people. Let them know. The evidence is there. I'm going to get those books if I can remember them all. But just remember, Woodward. Find out everything you can. We've known that the person in charge right now was a Russian stooge, was being blackmailed by Russia, and we still voted him in. Let's get him the F out of here, guys. We love you all. Have a good night.
Bye.
# Team Drain.